Hello, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter, your Las Vegas Raiders beat writer on SI and the host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. This is my mock draft. I think it's 5.0. I'm pretty sure it is. And my I'll have a few more before the draft, but this is my latest mock draft. And for those of you that don't understand how we do this mock draft, I need you to pay close attention because this isn't my opinion. So I get 5 NFL executives I don't ask my friends at teams above the Raiders. I just don't put them in that spot. So I asked 5 NFL executives to give me their picks for the 5 players ahead of the Raiders. And then I take all of their picks. So there'll be 25 picks in total. And everybody that gets picked number 1 overall gets 5 points. If you're picked 5th, you get 1 point. I take the 5 highest point getters and I take them off the board for my top 5. Excuse me. Then I go back to these 5 men and say, these 5 guys are off the board. What do you think happens? 3 of the 5 predicted a trade. And ironically, all 3 picked a trade with the same team. So I'm going to get into today's mock draft. It's the first one. I've told you all along, I thought the Raiders would prefer to trade down. And in this scenario, the players that I think they would have liked to have nabbed would not be there. So it was beneficial for the Raiders to trade down. So let's get right to the mock draft. And we're going to start round 1. I have the Raiders dropping from 6 to 10 with the Chicago Bears. And the Raiders select Jalen Walker, the UGA linebacker. Now, I've been telling you for weeks the Raiders love Jalen Walker. They love him. They love him. There are some guys they love more. I'm not going to pretend that they don't, but they love him. That instantly, with the loss of Christian Ellis, that instantly he plugs in instantaneously as your starter. And that guy is good. He's very good. I've told you before, man, go put the tape on and just watch him. Boom, pow. I mean, he's got speed. He hits. He plays the game of football angry. I loved some Jalen Walker, and the Raiders love him. So I have the Raiders drop him to 10. Instantly, he starts day 1. I love Divine Diablo. Good kid. But everyone's going to ask, Divine who? If Jalen Walker gets selected. Instantaneously a starter. And that kid is a difference maker. Just incredibly athletic. Just does things physically. I don't need to sell you. Just go Google his tape. Go to YouTube and just trust me. Grab some popcorn, order a pizza. It's a thing of beauty. The young man can play some football, and now nobody's talking about linebacker issues with the Raiders. Need some depth, but still, that guy's a complete beast. Beast. That'd be a great pickup for the Raiders. Nab him at 10. That guy should be, if that guy drops to 10, which he probably will with bad drafting, if he dropped, it'd be another big deal. He's not a dude. Brock Bowers was a dude, but he has the potential to be a generational talent. He is everything you're looking for. He can rush a passer. He can be in coverage. He's good, and he just thumps. And that guy just brings the wood, man. Bam! Just love it. If you love football, you'll love Jalen Walker. All right. Then the Raiders in the second round at pick 37 Get Kenneth Grant, the defensive tackle out of Michigan. Big bodied, mean, tough. First 2 picks go defense. Instantly, he's going to play a lot with Adam Butler, Christian Wilkins. This guy's he's a beast. The Raiders were all over him and Mason and Will and a couple other players at his pro day, but this guy fits. Now he should go in the first round. But there are going to be some really bad drafting teams, and each of those men I talked to think there's a chance he slips to the Raiders at 37, just because of how bad drafting teams are. And there's some bad drafting teams ahead of the Raiders who I think will be making some bad first round picks that probably will make some bad second round picks. So I think he drops. At 39, the Raiders get a steal. They get a steal. There are 4 running backs in this draft that have first round grades. Now, Ashton Jeanty is the cream of the crop. He's the best running back, talking to NFL people to come out, since Saquon. Nobody thinks he's as good as Saquon. Saquon was a dude. But they think he could be a generational talent and clearly the best. The next one is Omarion Hampton. Lots of people love him. There are some that even have him above Ashton on their board. But Ashton's 1, he's 2, and there's not a lot of space. Omarion Hampton is a stud. The third guy, the third highest rated running back, is not far behind, is Caleb Johnson, the running back out of Iowa. Because of the bad drafting, the Raiders nail him with the 39th pick, their second round selection that they pick up from the Chicago Bears, the monsters of the Midway. Let me tell you something. If you're a fan of the Raiders and you're sitting there early on day 2 and they've got Jalen Walker, Kenneth Grant, and Caleb Johnson, there's an old song. Turn out the lights, the party's over. And I'm not a singer, as you can tell. But that is a dream scenario for the silver and black. 3 guys that just play the game like Raiders, man. They're physical. They got some nasty, gotta wipes away some snot, and let's go beat people up and physical. 3 old school football players who could play the game with leather helmets. It's a pretty good mock draft here. And it's a mock draft built in reality. I saw someone the other day said, I think the Raiders should trade back to 26 and get Jeanty. Great. You'd like to go buy a Bentley for $40. Not happening. Now, in the 3rd round, pick 68, I have him getting AZAREY'H Thomas, the corner out of Florida State. He is a quintessential Patrick Graham press corner. He's physical. He's not afraid. Now, there are times, because he is so physical, and you've seen this with some other guys, he keeps his eyes in the backfield a little too much. Corey Bennett was that way. But they have a track record with JB coaching that out of a guy. Here's the thing. You can coach a guy to tap the brakes. You can't coach a guy to hit the gas pedal. Bam! He will step up and run coverage. He is disciplined in his press coverage. He's physical. Again, eyes in the background. That's why he slips to the 3rd round. You can coach that out. That's good coaching. And the Raiders got good coaching. You saw it with JB. I love AZAREY'H Thomas. Fourth round, pick 109.8. I got the Raiders picking their quarterback of the future, or who they think could be their quarterback of the future, Will Howard, Ohio State. I've shared with you, had a terrible throwing performance at the combine. He had people in his corner who switched his quarterback coach from Jeff Christensen, who's universally considered one of the best quarterback coaches in pro football. He's Patrick Mahomes' guy, worked closely with Chip. For some reason, the brain trust decided to change, and he did not throw well at the combine. He crushed it at his pro day. I talked to several people that were there and said it wasn't even the guy from the combine, different guy. So, anybody worried about Will Howard because of what happened at the combine, you shouldn't be. Now, if you were worried about Will Howard before the combine, then it's purely credible to be concerned now. But it's not purely credible to be concerned if it's just off of the combine. He'd be a great get. Then you come in 5th round, pick 143. This guy, I love this guy. Scouts love this guy. This is a guy that's a day one starter on the right team. This is a guy who I think, because of how the draft's going to go, he's going to fall to the 5th round. Okay. And it's not Hondo's opinion. Executives think he's going to. But stay with me for a moment, if you would, please. If a team picked him in the 3rd round, I would not consider that bad drafting. He's that good. He's that good. If I'm Dallas in the 3rd round, I'm snagging this guy in the 3rd round. Jared freaking Wilson from Georgia. This guy can play a lot of different spots. He's not Noble Gray, who I love. He's not Noble Gray, but he is Jared freaking Wilson. You go put the tape onto that guy. Go look at him. Go look at his pivot foot. Go watch that guy's rip when he pulls. Oh my goodness, is it beautiful? Watch that hand placement on the rip. Just literally watch that hip pivot. Bam, just lightning quick. Those hip pivots, man, they're a thing of beauty. That arm rip, his ability to get to his second step. Love that kid. Love that kid. Love every single thing about him. Love that kid. And Jared Wilson, man, brings the thunder. And by the way, I want to go back with AZAREY'H Thomas. Go watch him in plaster coverage. You can thank me later. And then just allow dreams in your head of him in a Patrick Graham defense with Christian Wilkins, Malcolm Kuntz, Max Crosby, Adam Butler, Tyree Wilson, AZAREY'H Thomas, plaster coverage. Just go watch the guy. It is art forms. You can't teach plaster coverage. you either get it because it's instinct, or you don't get it. And let's face it, when you're playing for Patrick Graham, you're going to have a lot of it. Just watch the film, you'll thank me. But Jared Wilson, just go turn the tape on. Watch how quick he gets upfield. I mean, the guy runs like a tight end, and he's a massive offensive lineman. Watch his underhand. Go watch it, and then email me and tell me what Raider it reminds you of. That underhand. I'm just telling you, these are some great players. This is such a great draft. I don't even remember the last time I was this excited about a draft. Because I just love, that's not true. It's an inanimate thing. I so enjoy the game of football. And I love this time of year because I'm watching so much film and I'm having guys send me stuff. When you watch Jared Will. I mean, we're talking here now about a 5th-round guy. I just kept rewinding tape. His rip. He's ripping out of place before the defensive lineman's out of his 3 or 4-point stance. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It is. Listen, I don't care about your museums. I go because I'm married, but I don't care about them. I like some museums, just not art museums. Could care less. Go watch Jared Wilson. It's artwork. It's like Jalen Walker, Kenneth Grant, Caleb Johnson, that running back. I love it because he'll run over people. And then when he's coming and they're like, don't run over me, goes around him. Caleb Johnson. Listen, if the Raiders get Gene T, Omar Hampton, Caleb Johnson, or Travian, just pour yourself a Gatorade Watermelon Zero, get a Sprite Zero or a beverage of your choice, and toast the room if you're a Raider. All 4 of those running backs. I love all 4 of them. I love all 4. And I'm sorry, there are certain guys I just love the way they play. And let me just say, Jared Wilson, whoever picks that kid, it's just like Elijah Cansey, who's been on this podcast, the defensive tackle for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Cody Mauk. I mean, you remember how much I love that guy? Where'd they both go? Tampa, Spy Tech. He loves that kind of guy. These are his kind of guy. These are Spy Tech guys. Just brute force strength, overpowering. Love it. And then the last pick that I'm going to go in my mock is 6th round, pick 180. I love this kid. Antoine Wells, wide receiver of Ole Miss. Love that kid. Dude, 6th-round guy. You expect your first 5 to make them. You hope your 6th and 7th make the practice squad. Wells would make, Wells would make the roster here in the 6th round. I think he's better than a 6. But again, it's such a deep draft. But with what the Raiders need, he fits it. Physical wide receiver. I'm going to tell you something about Wells. You want to go watch film? Go watch this kid, and you got to dig a little bit. But when you find the film, watch him when the play has nothing to do with him. He is downfield blocking. He's not afraid of it. Now, I think it hurts him a little bit, the system he was in, not because Lane runs a bad system. Lane runs a great system for college. But he's not afraid. There's no coward in Antoine Wells. That kid ain't a coward. That kid will fight you, block you. He can get better at it. But the point is, you see the want to. You see the want to. There's an old thing. How strong is your want to? You know, everybody says they want to lose weight. Okay. But how strong is your want to? Is your want to strong enough to do it? Because if not, quit saying want to, say wish to. Everybody says, I want to be a great parent. Okay. Do you want to or do you wish to? Takes effort. Everybody wants to do something. Okay. Do you want to or do you wish to? How strong is your want to? Because somebody that wants to is going to. Somebody that wishes to rarely does. And Antoine Wells now, he's got some want to now. That kid got a little bit of nasty in him. A little bit of nasty in him. A little bit of forearm shiver on a little block. Go watch his film. I'm just telling you, I think that's a great mock draft. And it's entirely feasible. So there you go, everybody. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for joining me for my latest mock draft. I hope you're doing well. God bless each and every one of you. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me. Oh, by the way, I just want to say this really, really quick. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Remember to tell the people in your life you appreciate them. Just take a second. You don't have to watch this podcast. You choose to. I'm not entitled to you. I didn't wake up this morning entitled to 10,000 of you watching this podcast. It'll be more than that do, but I'm not entitled to it. I have to work for it every day. And I think sometimes in media, we act like we're entitled. We're not entitled to anything. I appreciate that you allow me to come into your home or on your phone or wherever you're at, and I don't take you for granted. You have all my respect in the world. Thank you for joining me tonight. God bless all of you.